Good evening and welcome to the Guilderland Central School District's Board of Education meeting. Today is December 9th, 2025. Can everyone please silence their cell phones and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. We'll start with Parth, the high school student representatives.
Good evening, everyone. As always, it's such an honor to be here tonight. Ryan wasn't able to make it in today, so it'll just be me reporting for today. Is it okay if I do it from here?
Sure.
Okay. So first off, from my report today, we're quickly approaching the interim period for marking period 2, which means that we're almost halfway through the second marking period. Kind of hard to believe, but I would like to reiterate that some teachers require that the work that they have is due by the interim period. So students should make sure they're coordinating and communicating with their teachers to make sure that all back work is due when it needs to be due. Second off, the senior panoramic photo will be taking place this Thursday at 7:25 a.m. just before the first block. So any seniors who want to be in the picture and have it immortalized at Guilderland High School being hung up on the walls should be there at 7:25. And I reiterate 7:25 because we're seniors. Also, the grade 8 and the GHS choir concert will be tomorrow at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. And we hope to see a big crowd there tomorrow night so to support our Guilderland Music Department. Next up, NHS candidacy has been released and sent out to students who are eligible for the National Honor Society. To be eligible for the National Honor Society, you have to have a cumulative GPA of 90 or above. And so if you were eligible for NHS, this would have been sent out to an email to you on December 5th. If you haven't received an eligibility notice, but you believe that you do qualify, you should contact Mrs. Guerin or Ms. Nealis, the NHS co-advisors, to make sure that and check whether or not you're eligible. Now, these next two things are updates from student government meetings that we have, namely the Student Leadership Conference and Spirit Week. Starting off with the Student Leadership Conference, the student government is planning to host a Student Leadership Conference this year. That's essentially where student governments from different schools all around the area come together on one day to discuss matters in their school and how they can fix things and work together to make their schools a better community. Every year, a different school is responsible for hosting it. Last year, I believe it was Niskayuna who hosted it at Proctor's Theater, and there was a guest speaker and different events with all the different students there. And this year, Guilderland is responsible for hosting it. So the student government is going through the process of finding a venue, finding a guest speaker, and thinking of a general agenda for the day. Finally, we've also finalized our Spirit Week themes for next week. Spirit Week this week will be the 2 weeks before winter break. And it's going to be this coming full week, so Monday the 15th, and the Monday and Tuesday before break, so the 22nd and the 23rd. We have all of our days listed out, and they were also presented on the TV news this morning, and here they are for you guys. Monday, December 15th, will be snow out, where you wear winter gear. Tuesday, the 16th, will be Jersey Day, where you can wear a jersey of your favorite sports athlete or your favorite sports team. Wednesday, the 17th, is a pop culture day, where Wednesdays we wear pink, an allusion to, Mean Girls. Thursday, the 18th, is where students will dress as superheroes and teachers will dress as villains. Definitely not biased, I'm just kidding. Friday, the 19th, will be quarter zips and matcha day. And
Matcha?
yeah, I don't know how many of you understand that reference, but it's essentially a social media trend where people are wearing quarter zips and drinking matcha.
Yes.
Yeah, so we thought it would be a funny day to do for a Spirit Day.
You just insulted us.
I'm a little like that all the time. Okay.
And Blanca, you just went right in
I
there.
did. Guilty.
Monday the 22nd is an old classic pajama day, and Tuesday the 23rd is festive sweater day. That's all from me tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we have any public comments, Kim? No. Okay, great. Let's go on to community school presentation.
Yay.
Welcome and thank you for coming.
Where is it best for us? All right. Quarter zip and matcha day. I wish I was here.
Great, thank you so much.
That made me chuckle.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
There's more here.
exciting.
We brought 10. I think we underestimated the full room.
okay.
So
We'll
you
share.
can share with a partner. We'll make sure that you all have the all of the information in the folder for you electronically after we leave today, for sure. Well, thank you, everyone. Good evening. We're so happy to be here. My name is Juliana Obi. I'm Regional Director with United Community Schools, United Federation of Teachers. We are an arm of the Federation of Teachers, the union out of New York City. So we are their nonprofit community school arm, basically, and my colleague.
Good evening, everybody. Lisette Roman. I am the United Community Schools Director of Capacity Building. Pleasure to meet you all.
And let us know if we need to speak up. I'm normally okay without a mic.
You want to use the microphone just because we have people watching at
Yeah,
home?
for sure.
So, all right.
Absolutely.
So, sure. Thank you.
We'll share. Yeah. All right. So we're just here tonight. We want to give you a general idea of what community schools is, and we hope to leave you with an understanding of how you start one, how you can sustain one, different models that we see throughout the country with community schools. And then we want to highlight some of the work that we've been doing with Albany School District since 2018 with their community schools, and then share a little bit about who we are as United Community Schools and what we can bring to the table as a partner in this work with a district. So just to kick us off, community schools is a strategy and it's a model. It is not a program. Typically, when you see programs, if funding is there for a program, it stays. When funding goes, the program goes. Community schools is built into the fiber of a school in a way that if funding is not available, it is a strategy that the whole school and the district can still support and uplift, and it's still ingrained in a way that doesn't go away. So it's a way to organize school and community resources, and really we're wrapping around student success. We're talking about academic success. We're talking about basically the whole child.
So community schools, we focus on the whole child. So that's a child's social, their emotional, their cognitive needs. And we do this by connecting students and families to wraparound services. So that's something that this model would provide. So they would identify the needs of the students within the school population and figure out what are those assets that a school currently has, and then what are some additional resources that we want to bring to the table. So community schools have measurable delivered results. So we have student level results. We've seen increases in attendance, academic performance. We've even seen a greater connectedness from our students, not just from student to classmate, but from student to teacher staff, which is so important. On the school level outcomes, we've seen increases in positive culture and climate. We've seen an increase in family engagement and just an overall stronger cohesiveness with partnerships.
And I think something that's not talked about enough, we typically talk about the whole child a lot and the child's success, but community schools has also seen success with eliminating barriers to families. And we've also seen a lot of growth within the community that a school lives in, because that school ends up being a community hub and a center and a safe place for families and community members that may not even have students in your district, but it's a place that folks can go to get resources that they need. So a little bit about community sustainability, because we're always talking about money, right? Where's the money? Where does it come from? What do we do? How do we do it? So these are some models that have been seen across the nation with community schools. There is a community-based organization model. United Community Schools is a community-based organization, so we can support some schools when we have the funding to hire the coordinator to help pay for services and programs. Or we can also offer technical assistance and be a partner in that work, where we are training your staff at the school, we're coaching, we're doing all the professional learning for teachers, for any of your community school staff, as well as principals. There's a university-assisted model that's out there, where universities take the lead in the role in the community school partnership, and the university is using their funding and their resources to push in services, programs, supports into a school or a school district. So just a brief example, Binghamton University, over the last 7 years, they support the entire Binghamton city from the university's funding. So the university has applied for like national funding that was available pre where we are now. The funding is on freeze right now, but Previously, they've applied for it, so they use the university's resources and push them into schools where students are doing programming, they're running pantries, they are doing after-school clubs and enrichment, and it really takes that financial burden off of the district. Union-led model, which is a part of our model as well, is where a teachers union actually helps to fund the community school work in a district, or the city or the community. And then, of course, the district-led model is where the district is serving as the lead partner for yourself, and you are funding it through your district funds, whether it be hiring staff for it or paying for programming, additional programming outside of what you already have. So a little bit about funding. So we talked briefly about district-led funding. That's when a school can use either their state foundation aid or they can use their already budgets to kind of reallocate some money. We've seen some great success with schools that are in receivership or in status, which we hope nobody is. But if you are, we've seen plenty of schools use that funding to help pay for the community school work. And then they find a way to be sustainable after that money is gone and they're out of receivership. We've also seen many schools in receivership get out of receivership and status because of their community school model and their work. And then also districts can incorporate things into general funds. Something for smaller districts that are not in the Big Five in New York State, there is a BOCES COSER that is available to a lot of schools. So you can contact your local, the Capital District BOCES. They have RFPs available where you can put in a certain dollar amount to support community schools, and then BOCES gives back $3 on your dollar for community schools. So we've seen some great success with Schenectady School District. They use a BOCES COSER. Albany's not able to. Albany's a district-led model where they use their state funding to pay for community schools. And I'm giving you those examples around the region, right? Because we have schools in New York City, but it's helpful to see what's happening around in our neighborhood. And then a lead CBO is the district can basically take some of their funding and pay an organization like us to lead all of the work, because districts typically are really focused on, right, making sure our students are successful, making sure they're graduate ready, making sure that they're coming to school. But a lot of the stuff that comes with community schools, districts aren't really aware of how to do that work. So they typically can pay an organization like ours to hire, train, and be responsible for the community school work in partnership. All right, so I know there's questions about where do we start. We're speed rolling here. So, right, if, you know, we're looking at the time, and I can talk a lot, so I'm gonna keep speed rolling. So where do you start, right? If you are in a place where you may not have the funding, you don't know if you're ready to hire somebody, you don't know if this is something that you want. We always suggest that a community needs assessment is done. So not a school needs assessment, that's second. Community needs assessment. Where has your community shifted? What are the demographics like? What does housing look like in your community? What do resources and access look like in your community? Are folks struggling in your community? Are folks successful? Do you have a lot of migrant families or incoming families that you don't know how to serve? All of those things. An organization like us can help support a community needs assessment. Then you work on a district needs assessment, right? What are your current resources now for families, students, and staff? What does your current personnel look like? Is there anybody that can shift into doing more community school work, or can there be a team that supports it? Where are you with academics, attendance, and your social emotional trends? Have things started to get better? Are things getting worse? Just identifying where you are. And then your district demographics, right? What are your races, your genders, your languages? What are poverty rates? And do you have a lot of displaced families? That data helps you think about what are our top priorities and our needs of the district, and where can we start to chip away at some of this stuff using the community school model, right? Because it can feel very overwhelming at first to say, oh, we're going to implement this amazing strategy, but then we want to do everything. But is everything your top priority? And then identifying community school personnel. We have seen plenty of schools and districts hire coordinators or liaisons. We've seen folks hire community school directors. There are different titles all over the nation, so don't get caught up on the title. And then we've also seen schools that aren't ready to support a full staff, but use internal staff, where they either give a 0.5 to a teacher, or they give work to a teacher's assistant to help do the work. We've seen social workers take on this work, or even the role of an assistant superintendent kind of shift to doing more family and community engagement work with a team of people. Ooh, that was a lot.
Matt's turn. All right. So the way that this work happens is through collaborative leadership. So your community school director or coordinator or your team of personnel would help to bring in that body of stakeholders where all voices help to shape decision-making, identifying and helping shape what the school and community's priorities are and solutions. So this is the framework from the National Center for Community Schools. And at the core of it is who? Our students, right? Because they are the reason why we're here. And all students, we want them to flourish. We want them to flourish in thriving school communities. And surrounding our core are the people who do this work. Sorry, I'm not using the mic. Are the people who do this work. Whether you're district leadership, we need you. Everybody has a role and an impact on this work. You support with buy-in, with commitment, for helping to carry out that mission and that vision. You can be school administration and you're helping to collaborate with that advisory board meeting and with those community school staff to help to implement and advocate that strategic plan that was decided upon in your advisory board meeting. You may be a teacher and you're uplifting community-connected classrooms. So we're helping our students to align what's being learned in the classroom with your outside of the classroom day to day, which is so pivotal. The community school director or coordinator or liaison, whichever role you decide to come up with, they serve as your ambassador. They're the ones that help to promote this work on the ground every day. They're the ones reaching out, leveraging, finding supports for sustainability, connecting with partners so that our classroom teachers can do what they do best, which is teach. So they're helping to take that off their plate by working with other stakeholders within the school community that maybe have some extra time to contribute during an advisory board or during a subcommittee time. They help to manage partnerships, providers, they're that point person for them.
So this is just a little bit about who we are. UCS was launched by the union in New York City in 2012. The idea really came from our educators. They kept saying, we keep seeing this model in other places in the nation. Our students are failing. Our families need help. They don't have access to anything. It's too hard to navigate systems in New York City. Why don't we have this model here? Then the union took a trip to Cincinnati, saw their amazing district-led model, and then brought it back, and the union invested in United Community Schools. So really with our model, what you see is the folks at the top, the admin, the teachers, the parents, the students, the school staff, and community partners, that's what makes up what Lisette was talking about, your advisory board. So that board of people is your community school stakeholders. Those are your voices at the table. They're helping to look at data, they're looking at what's happening in the school, and they're helping to make decisions around how money is spent. So it's not a top-down model where you're saying this is what everybody has to do. We're saying this is what our particular school needs, and this is the group of people that are helping to get us there. And then all of that work with the advisory board is funneled through a community school director or coordinator. Some of our schools have social workers. It's great when those two people collab when we're talking about a lot of the social emotional work and what families' needs are. And then that trickles down to what we call pillars, which are basically our school-based service providers. And we organize them. In your folder, you have copies of different schools' pillars. And that's really how we organize the resources that are in our community school. And then, of course, for the impact for everyone involved. So our partnership with Albany School District, just to give you an idea of what's happening down the road, we've been a partner with them since 2018. I actually started as a community school coordinator in Albany. I was the first one to partner with United Community Schools in Albany District. So we went from having about 5 schools and now we're at about 8 in Albany. And in Albany, we only function as their technical assistance provider and partner. So we are not their lead CBO. They hire and develop along with us their community school coordinators with their state funding. But our work with them really is funneled through professional development. We also host principal institutes, so principals understand how to be leaders in this community school work. Our principals go to New York City and work with other principals. We offer one-on-one coaching in Albany, so I have a program manager that does the coaching every day with the community school coordinators on site at school. We offer technical assistance. I provide that professional learning sessions, which are full day sessions for them throughout the year around community school work. We develop strategic partnerships that is a lot of my work as regional director, working with those universities in our area to get them to help support our community schools a lot more. Going to community meetings, find more sustainability and funding. That's a lot of my work to help Albany sustain, just in case money is not there. And we also conduct various community school evaluations. We do school-based evaluations for them, for students, staff, and families. And we also do a district-wide evaluation to measure non-district community schools against district community schools, so we can see what our impact looks like. And this is just a sample of what's already in your folder. So this is just how we organize visually what the resources at a school could look like. So this is basically, I call it the resource dump. This is a visual that's shared out at community events that we bring to organizations with us so that folks can see what's going on. And one of the big things that you'll see that's different from our organization versus other pillars is we have an educator support pillar. We're really, really big on making sure that our teachers are a part of this work and understand how to lead this work in a classroom so that they're a part of student success as well. And we want our teachers to be able to be better teachers, and we want to help to remove those barriers so that they can just teach.
So this is just a brief walkthrough of if you were to have a partnership with United Community Schools as your technical assistance provider. So as Juliana had shared, we would start off with an initial assets and needs assessment. We will help to facilitate that. We would offer customized professional development, deliver sessions, whether that's in-person, hybrid, whatever that you all are looking for. And then we also offer that on-site support through coaching and consultation. We do have a technical assistance catalog. In your handouts, there is a QR code, and also in the presentation that gives you a sample of a huge archive of all of our topics that are available, and we do offer customized topics as well. And the great thing about this work is that we've divided up this TA opportunity that it can be for any school district. It's for schools that have just started and getting to learn and know about the community school framework and how to get started. And this is also for schools that have been a part of this work but are looking to deepen their roots within the strategy.
I don't know if you all have time for Q&A. If not, if we're welcome, we'll stay for your meeting so that we can chat afterwards, because I know you guys had to run through an agenda.
We can do the Q&A now. We would not want to make you stay for the whole meeting.
Sure. I mean, listen,
Thank you
after
for
quarter zips and matchas, it might be a good time.
I have a matcha after 7. I'll be up till Thursday.
No, listen, I can't drink the green dirt. I can't do it.
Does anyone have any questions? Rebecca?
I just want to thank you so much for coming. This was an amazing presentation. We really, I think I speak for all of us. Thank you for bringing them. It was great. I do have a question though.
Go ahead.
So you mentioned Albany and Schenectady as sort of more local districts that are doing this. Any suburban districts that are doing it nearby?
Not in our area, not Capital Region. We definitely see it outside of the Capital Region, but not typically in our area, not yet, let's just say.
And can you, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you know of any outside of the Capital District that are suburban, that just off the top of your head, and it's okay if you don't?
Trying to think who would be the closest. Those are all urban.
I didn't want to
Yeah,
put you on
I
the
don't
spot.
think we
Yeah.
get into suburban until we go more out towards Wayne County way, Monroe County, some in Buffalo, some kind of out there, because Wayne County and Monroe County are huge. So I know that they have a mix of rural, suburban, urban. It's all mixed into one.
Okay.
But I can definitely look into it more, and I'll send the info to Tara for her to definitely share out.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I just wanted to thank you, and we do have a member of the GTA here, so I just want, before you leave, I'll give you my packet and you can bring it back to share. So thank you.
Very cool.
Is it possible for us to go visit, an Albany community
Absolutely.
school, even though it's urban? Maybe we could just go and just see.
So I got something for you.
Oh, yeah.
So I came ready. So April 29th through May 1st, there is a annual community school conference that's hosted in Albany through the New York State Community School Network and Network for Youth Success. So they used to do 2 days community school, 2 days after school, like 21st century type LEAP stuff. But this year they're combining. So with that conference, if you attend, our Albany schools are site visits again for the second year in a row. So you'll be able to select if you want to go to one of our schools. It's also an opportunity. I am going on leave soon to give maternity leave, so that's on the way. Don't worry, nothing's gonna happen here. We're fine. We're safe. But if you don't end up going to that conference, I would be more than willing to help schedule something after I'm back in May, if you're unable to make it. But I would say the conference is a really good place, especially if you're still trying to understand how to start this work. There are great presenters that come all over the nation. Children's Aid, which is one of like the bigger national frameworks and partners, they typically host some sessions. We have local folks that host sessions and folks from the different school districts that I mentioned. So you may meet some people that are from suburban areas, you know, like yours that have a similar model. It's just a really good place to get a foundational understanding of community schools and connect with other school districts so you can keep learning and keep building those relationships. And then the school site visits are great too. Yes.
So, do any of these community schools that are currently in existence have an arm that help in the community outside of the school? Not outside of the school, but outside of the demographics of the school. So, the immediate family of children attending school. Is there anything that does outreach into the community to benefit those that maybe don't have kids in the school district, who are retired, who are older, anything of that nature?
I would say yes. And that's typically what the community school model should be, right? Because we're talking about supporting your community and not just what's inside the building. Your building just ends up being that hub and that center. So you see a lot of schools that do like parent educational courses or adult ed. A lot of schools may be doing workforce development. I've seen schools that do like grandparent programs, especially for grandparents that are fostering or have their grandchildren in custody. I've seen programs like that happen at schools. Most of our schools, especially all of our schools in Albany, they all have food pantries. They do weekly food distribution, and then they do massive food distribution that are open to the communities as well. When it comes to like Toys for Tots giveaway or holiday giveaway, they're ordering a massive amount of toys to help give out to the community as well. And then we also have coordinators who actually go and do work in the community, because we see partnerships as being reciprocal. So it never should just be we're asking you for a bunch of stuff. Our coordinators are actually pushing into the community and helping out other nonprofits and small organizations. They may partner together and do activities and events together. They may do giveaways together, or they may just be at an organization serving food because that organization hosted a workshop for them, right? So yes, ideally, we want to see that impact go beyond the school walls, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, just to echo, thank you for this. This is incredible. It seems like many schools do aspects of what you're speaking to as already, but and to visualize like a visit, for example, I'm just trying to understand that. So, is this more just streamlining those things under an umbrella? So, is it necessarily how tangible is it? I guess what I'm saying. So, is it just like an oversight of different aspects of need? Right?
So I feel like oftentimes, especially in large schools, but even in some of your smaller student populations, what happens? We're so busy and we silo ourselves, right? And I think it just happens because we're so zoned in. So some of those aspects of the work may be happening, but this work, by having the coordinator or the director, is the linchpin to this work, to the word that you just said, to help streamline, pull, but also the data piece is really pivotal. We want to know if what we're doing is really having an impact, right? We want to know what that quantitative data looks like and how is it contributing to our student barriers. So yes, that's what this is.
So back to the slide where you had the sustainability. If, for example, we were to work with U Albany, is there still a role for you? Have you ever done like a partnership lead or?
So currently, I will say that currently with U Albany, I've taken the lead with U Albany to get the university to even understand what their role could be. This is a very long-term process with a university as big as UAlbany. I have been like that connector and that liaison. Albany also has, Albany District has hired a director of community schools. So I funnel things from the university to her, and then she helps to disperse it. So I'm doing a lot of like the meetings at UAlbany. I'm helping to facilitate trainings or conferences and connecting other universities together. And I will say that UAlbany does have the capacity to kind of stretch a little bit, but it takes time, right? Because we're talking about 15 to 20 different departments that we're trying to like move this work into. Currently, we're working with School of Ed, School of Social Work, and the Cybersecurity Homeland Security program.
Not public health?
No, not yet. And I think it's mainly because we started with who we knew. So we started with the Department of Community Engagement, and then he's helping to spread the word. So now we're moving to a provost meeting, so I can meet with all of the heads of the departments at once so that they can understand it. And then we're sending them to UPenn has a center called Netter Center, which is their Center for Community and Family Engagement, and they push into all of the Philadelphia schools. And they've been doing that work for like 20 years. So I've connected UAlbany and Siena with them so that they can learn how to start this model. So it's slowly moving. But that is a lot of my work, is like that strategic partnership and trying to get them to uplift what's already happening on campus and how can we integrate it in surrounding schools.
I encourage you to go to the Center for the Elimination of Minority Health Disparities at UAlbany, and Janine Jerkowski and Julia Hastings.
Yes, heard those names. Okay.
Somebody else I think I saw a hand? Okay. Tara?
You know so many people, Blanca. Thank you for coming, and I'm sorry I didn't tell you how many people would be here, so
okay.
that's my bad.
No, I
I'm
didn't
so
ask
sorry.
either.
I'm just wondering, so let's say if we do this work, and so we have a district model, could we also partner with like the university, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, these are not like one and done. You
Okay.
can do a combination, which many schools do, right? You may start out as a district model, and then the university can still support and push in resources, so you're not spending so much of your dollars.
Yeah.
Similarly to Albany, right? They started with the district-led model. They use their funding to support the staffing piece and the programming piece, but money is not always going to be around, right? So they're starting to move into more of a university-assisted model, and we're just helping to facilitate that relationship.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, to the public health question, I think that the medical and both mental health and physical health that's provided is pivotal, especially today. To what extent, to the suburban question, like, is this something that can be offered to all regions, or is this more of based on what we're hearing, is this an predominantly urban, or is something that all districts could benefit from?
Every district
They'd have
could
the
benefit,
opportunity to, if
for
they
sure.
chose to.
Absolutely. And we do have many schools, you see schools that partner with either hospitals or larger like health agencies, and they actually put in health centers at their school that whole families can access. There are dental clinics that happen at the schools. There can be vision clinics that happen at the schools. I say, in my mind, just doing this work for as long as I have, there's no reason why every school shouldn't be a community school. I don't care how good you think that things are or they may look. I think that this work could really benefit everybody. And really, it's just about everybody coming together, like Lisette said, not working in silos, making sure that everything is data proven and impacted. We tend to, at schools, say everything is for everybody. With our community school model, we focus on who needs what and how can we uplift the folks that aren't getting what they need, and starting there.
And just to add, if you look in the few folders, we have those buckets, those pillars we were talking about. We provided 4 samples for 4 very different schools. So 2 are from Albany, but 2 are also from downstate New York City. And all of those buckets are different for a reason, because It's not a one size. You're not going to have the same health and wellness interventions at one school that you may have at another school. They may have plentiful access to dental at their school, but maybe they don't have access to primary immunizations, and that's why they're missing a lot of school days. So maybe we're going to focus our attention on that. So that's why they do look different if you compare the 4 different school pillars.
Do you have an aspect of serving children who are aging out of the foster care system as like a fundamental help, or, you know, some aspect? Because as we know, like almost 50% of the unhoused individuals in this country come from aging out of the foster care system. So is this something that you're addressing, or, you know, how would we model that here? Obviously, this is something that we've talked about and I hold really dearly to my heart. I don't understand how this is helpful in that situation, and I'd like to know what you guys are doing and what you're utilizing to make sure that those kids are getting assistance.
Got you. So I think the easiest way for me to put it is, when you see one community school, you've seen one community school, right? It's not a one-size-fits-all model. If you are seeing in your area that this is a high need for you, then we can work to help you put a system in place to help that demographic of students, right? But that might not be the same need down the street. So they're implementing something completely different to serve the needs of their community. With community schools, the sky is the limit. That's what I always say, which is why a needs assessment, like you're saying, you know, like the data shows what the need is. So let's figure out how to focus our need on that. I will say, as a partner in community schools and our work is to support the work that a school is feeling that they need to do and putting in systems and strategies and processes in place. We don't necessarily, as an organization, have a process for that particular thing, but it doesn't mean that we don't have the backbone and the support to say, okay, what is the need? How do we build out something that's going to be long-term? What are the agencies that we need to work with in our area to make sure that these kids are, you know, performing and successful and healthy and whole? The same way we would do if a school is seeing like really low graduation rates. How do we move into New York State DOE? The Department of Ed came out with a portrait of a graduate recently. So a lot of our community school work is starting to wrap around what that looks like using that community school framework, that wheel that we were talking about, so that we're in alignment with what's happening statewide, basically. So I would say nothing is like off the table, right? It's just understanding what your needs are and then how can we uplift what that is.
Sorry,
Yeah.
one more question. So you mentioned portrait of a graduate, and I was thinking about the service learning requirement.
Yes.
And based on the fact that you bring in students from the SUNY level, do any models you have students in the district use their like volunteering or other involvement to take part in the process as part of that service learning aspect that schools are going to have to provide as well?
Absolutely. So most of our middle schools and high schools actually have students participate in those monthly advisory boards, because we want to ensure that there's voice and representation, not from the adults, right? We want to hear from the students. We want them, just like how you have a student here today, advocating and sharing what it is that they want, that what they're doing, what is their spirit week, what are some of their other needs. This is how we find out a lot of the needs from those students. So we want representation from them. We also have students participate in initiatives such as our food pantries, where we pack bags together. That truck comes off, we're loading it up together, and they're taking part not just in the packing process, but in that connection process with the community, right? It's one thing to pack the bag in the school, right? But we want them to have that connection to their community and say, I hope you have a nice day, right? Like, here you go. They're helping conduct that inventory as well for those items. In one of our high schools in Staten Island, we're talking about a population of about 2,300 students. It's a massive school. And I kid you not, how many of those students feel a stigma and don't want to utilize the services for that food pantry? Why? Because they're embarrassed, they're shy, right? So what do we have? We have our student ambassadors that are volunteering. They're receiving some credit, right? They're receiving that experience, but they also want to do it. And they're like, hey, Juliana, come and check this out. This is really neat, right? Like, maybe you could bring some of these resources home. I'm bringing these. This is cool. Whatever the kids are saying nowadays, right? Right? Because we need them to do this work. So that's just 2 simple ways that we've seen them involved, and there's so many lists of other opportunities for them, whether it's community engagement murals that we're showing positive affirmations for our community and advocating what our school community is about. There's a lot of ways for them to be involved.
And I think to the service learning 2 aspect, that is also a great, what we see is our coordinators that we hire or the directors helping to be responsible and facilitate the relationship between those high school students and the younger students. So in Albany, for example, many of our schools utilize the high school's barbering and cosmetology program, and those students are going to our younger schools and or the students are going to the high school, and the students are getting hours by cutting hair, doing our students' hair. They support during like picture day to make sure the students look how they want to look and feel good about themselves. We have folks from the construction program that are building picnic tables and garden beds for our schools with our students, so that adds to their time as well. Nursing students coming in and facilitating sessions in classrooms. So like I said, whatever you want can be done. It's just helpful to have a team of people that are helping to organize, or a director whose only responsibility is to coordinate resources and help to bring everything together.
Anyone else?
I just had a thought about what you just said. I imagine that would help with like growing your own and recruitment for future employment too.
So we actually have a high school student who was involved within their school community at QIRT. It's a high school in Far Rockaway, Queens. So we're talking about very far from us, right? And scarce resources in that school community. And they were involved within their community school. They are now a community school associate with us, and his name's Isaiah. He's fabulous. You can check him out on our website. But he just brings such a talent, but also that organic connection because he's from that community. He grew up within that high school, and being part of that community school fabric provided him with this employment opportunity. He's wonderful.
And we've also seen some other high school students or graduates, once they're in their professional world, we've actually hired them back as program service providers. So some of them are doing enrichment during the school day, some of them are doing enrichment after school or Saturday academies that we have, or morning programming. And as some of my work, I've actually helped them develop what their contract and their work scope looks like, and giving them that level of professional development so that they can increase their household income, but then also give back to the school community that they're from.
And then I will say, in some of our schools, we do partner with agencies that offer summer youth employment or school year work, learn, and grow programs. So there's other employment opportunity, especially for our high school students. We don't want them to miss out on school, right? But some of them also, they need to work and have to work and want to be able to contribute to pay and help at home. So we do connect them with some of those employment opportunities as well that are, maybe you're not working for United Community Schools, but we connect you with other employment opportunities for students.
No more questions. That's it for us.
Thank you so much.
You have our contact info if you need it. Please reach out. Tara, you know how to reach us. Thank you. And we have goodies for you all. We're going to leave them on the end of the table.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up on the agenda are the consent items. So those are items A through D. Can I get a motion to approve the consent items? Katie, second Tara. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Okay, unanimous. And take it away, Rachel.
Good evening. I have two items for you this evening. The first is a textbook approval submitted for information, so for review. This is La Nouvelle FIA by Jennifer Degenhart, which is for use in grades 8 and 9, level 2 French. that is up for your review this evening, and then not next month, but the meeting following that, it will be up for approval. I do not have a copy of it with me tonight, but you can request one from me, and I can get it from Lauren Anderson. Fair warning, it is completely in French. Just so you know. My other item is an update on Aaron's Law, which was requested by some members of the board. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background information and then tell you what we do here in our district to address Aaron's Law. So Aaron's Law was signed into legislation in August 2019, and the law requires public schools to teach child sexual abuse and exploitation prevention measures to students in grades kindergarten through 8. Aaron's Law is intended to help children, teachers, and parents identify sexual abuse and provide awareness, assistance, and resource information for children and families who are victims of childhood sexual abuse. Aaron's Law's objectives are divided into grade bands to make it developmentally appropriate for children of different ages within different grade levels. And so some examples of some of the topics that are covered in each grade band for kindergarten through second grade, there are things like easy to remember safety rules, trusted adults in your life, strangers, safe versus unsafe secrets, and 2 types of abuse that are identified as words or body. In grades 3 through 5, the topics are items such as recognizing red flag behaviors in person and online, internet and digital safety, and learning 4 types of abuse, which are listed as physical, emotional, neglect, and sexual abuse. And then in grades 6 through 8, topics covered include recognizing healthy and unhealthy relationships, setting personal boundaries and honoring the boundaries of others, saying no without feeling guilty, identifying abuse that may occur in person or online, identifying safe adults and peers, or seeking professional help, such as abuse lines or counselors, and again, internet and digital safety. So each year, this is how we address it here in Guilderland, each year we invite certified prevention educators from St. Peter's Crime Victim Services to visit school buildings and teach the age-appropriate prevention lessons. They use Monique Burr Foundation for Children's Safety Matters curriculum. And Child Safety Matters curriculum is an evidence-based personal safety program recommended by New York State Education Department to meet the requirements of Aaron's Law. Additionally, students in grades 6 through 8 cover Aaron's Law topics in health class during assemblies and presentations that are led by school counselors and our school resource officer. While the idea about talking about these topics can feel alarming, starting the conversation early is shown to help protect students. The program's mission is to educate and empower children and staff with strategies to make informed choices, practice healthy behaviors, and prevent, recognize, and respond appropriately to bullying, peer pressure, and all types of child abuse. We also make sure that for each of these presentations or lessons, our in-house counselors and social workers are present during the presentations to provide assistance if needed. So those presentations with St. Peter's have started this fall. They continue into the spring. Each building develops its own schedule. We do space it out through the year to make sure we can address all grade levels. And letters went home to families in grades K through 8 earlier this fall. And what I just read, that statement will be in the minutes of this meeting. It's not on the agenda, but it'll be in the minutes.
I have a question. Is there a version of this provided to our self-contained programs for special needs students?
I believe so, but I can check on that to be sure.
I just wanted to thank you for providing that information. That was so helpful. So I think it underscores how child sexual abuse is unfortunately underreported, and children often come to care years, if not longer, decades after abuse is reported. So education in the primary years is like of utmost importance and can potentially help mitigate ongoing child abuse and also hopefully prevent child abuse for siblings or other affected children. So thank you so much for providing that information.
Thank you, Rachel. Are you going to read it to us in French?
Absolutely not.
I was wondering.
It's outside of my skill set.
Sounds like a job for a new superintendent. Okay, and with that, take it away, Dan.
I will do this in English since you said it that way. Culture and Climate Survey launched on Friday. It went out to parents and teachers, students. Their version launched this week. It will be open through next week, depending on whether you're an adult or a student. Students got a few extra days because of a technological issue. So we're giving teachers a couple of extra days to help administer those in classes, especially in our 3 through 5 classrooms. They need a little more assistance getting logged in to the survey, so on and so forth. But essentially the survey is very similar to the last one, so we're going to be able to hopefully do some coordination of results with the last survey and this survey, and look for some target areas of things that we do well and some areas that we might need some improvement.
Great, thank you very much. Now it's board president information. You'll see here that we have grouped policies into A and B. A is on the docket for second read, and B is being presented the first time for information and discussion. Okay, so we are not voting on anything today. Those are just for you to look over. And then we have school business management action items.
Thank you. We're going to start with a resolution modifying election districts, but before sharing the resolution, I'm going to give a brief presentation. Thank you. So at last month's meeting, we shared the plan for changing designated polling locations, starting with this May 2026 vote. I'm not going to recap the entire process, but I wanted to clarify something I shared at last meeting, which is we do pay poll workers. These rates are established each year in the personnel agenda near the end of the school year for the following year. For 2025-26, the May 26 vote, these are the rates we will be paying for people working as inspectors of various roles, as well as our chair of elections, and the board will appoint these people as we get closer to the vote. And then finally recapping what our proposal is, it is moving to 3 polling sites, so changing the designated number of vote locations from 5 to 3. Those 3 sites would be held at Altamont Elementary School, Pine Bush Elementary School, and Westmere Elementary School. Residents have to be assigned to a specific location. Residents of those top 3 would be voting at those locations. The Linwood residents would vote at Pine Bush, and Gilwin Elementary School, Ketchum would vote at Westmere. In the attached documents for this meeting is a street listing of all addresses in the district that tells you your new assigned location. And then we will be purchasing voting machines and ADA compliant marking devices to support the election, because again, we have to supply our own equipment this time. Any questions on any of this process before I go back to my seat for the resolution? Districts. We will share the polling the board determines the polling locations annually each year closer to the election, but this is the move from 5 districts to 3 districts.
Okay, is this roll call? No, right? Okay.
It's a vote.
So can I get a motion? Let's see, Meredith, second, Nina. Any questions or comments?
I just have a comment. I know we talked about this at the last meeting. Reduction of polling sites runs the risk of reducing our voters, which is obviously not something that we want. So I think it's going to be incumbent upon us in the upcoming election to both notify voters as well as make available absentee or mail-in voting.
Yes, and we offer, and committee members have taken advantage of both absentee and early vote by mail options. We'll be sure to communicate those in all of our communications. And we are doing everything we can to get the message out there. I mean, since this last meeting, we've had the Parent Square message. It's posted on our website. There was an article in the Altamont Enterprise. We will continue to make sure that we get the message out there about the locations and options for people who it may be a burden to get to those locations.
Thank you. Definitely the enterprise will help, but, you know, I'm thinking of people that don't have kids in the district. So, I don't know, nursing homes, hospitals, things like that, you know?
Could we visit there and tell them? I mean, is that a, could we
We were
do
just talking
visits?
about it. We were just talking about it in the communications, and we could, so we could bring
Oh,
back, if
okay.
you have more suggestions, we could bring them back to the communications. 'cause
Okay.
They had nursing homes, what was the other ones, Katie, we were talking about?
Senior
The senior
center.
center.
Senior centers.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
library,
Oh, yes, yeah.
also
yeah.
putting up signs
Yeah, big at the
at your elementary school. I know that
Apartment
doesn't,
complexes.
Apartment complexes, yeah.
yeah, so there's,
Board meeting.
Town board meetings, yeah, yeah, okay.
This might be a good opportunity to communicate with the library board and the town board. I know that,
Especially the library, because it affects them as well.
yeah.
Yes.
Peter
right,
Barber, I think in the past has offered the senior van as well, right, to take seniors to vote. So somehow, let's give this to the communication committee to come up with a plan.
Okay.
Great. Okay, and next, what is next? I think we did vote.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we have to vote, we didn't, I'm sorry. Okay, everybody, in favor? Okay, unanimous.
Our next item is the resolution to accept delinquent tax rolls and the composite tax collection report. For our district, we turn these delinquent rolls over to the county, who collects unpaid taxes, but we are made whole for the process, so we do not lose any of our budgeted revenue.
Okay, can I get a motion to pass the resolution to accept delinquent tax rolls? Peter, second. Kim, any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous?
Thank you. My next item are professional service agreements for individuals serving as accompanists and support for our various music ensembles in the district.
Okay, can I get a motion to accept these professional service agreements? Nina, second. Kelly, any questions or comments? All those in favor? Unanimous?
Thank you. My next item is the declaration of surplus and obsolete property, which is listed in the agenda, itemized.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the declaration of obsolete property? Meredith, second. Rebecca, any questions or comments? All those in favor? Unanimous?
Thank you. My final item are a number of donations, which include CS Arch, who made a monetary donation to the K-9 program, a donation of a $300 Amazon gift card from Jonathan Wilsey to support the purchase of supplies for a kindergarten project. Adirondack Orthodontics made a donation of $13,000 for the purchase of a 12-foot pro LED scorer's table for use at basketball, volleyball, and wrestling matches in the GHS West Gym. Dr. Sergey Bernstein at Adirondack Orthodontics is donating a 3D printer and starter accessories to the teacher and students of the high school to promote technology. And there's an anonymous donation of sleds to Altamont Elementary School.
Wow. Thank you for those donations. Can I get a motion to accept the donations? Katie, second. Tara, any questions or comments? All those in favor? Unanimous? All right. Superintendent action.
The one action item I have this evening is for the board to authorize the superintendent to execute a proposed memorandum of agreement between the Guilderland Central School and the Guilderland Support Staff Association and Justin Willey.
Okay, can I get a motion to accept the memorandum of agreement? Tara, second. Kim, any questions or comments? All those in favor? Unanimous? Now we have board president actions. So the following regulations and or exhibits were submitted, and now we need to adopt. So we recommend approval. This is the student privacy under the protection of pupil rights amendment. Can I get a motion to approve? Peter, second. Rebecca, any questions or comments? All those in favor? Unanimous? And then board committee reports. Can we start with audit? Did you guys meet very early in the morning as usual? Who's audit?
So we have not had a meeting since our last meeting. We do have interviews for community member candidates in the first week of January.
Okay, thank you. Business practices?
We have not met recently.
Okay. Communications, you just met, right?
We just met prior to this meeting. We discussed some of the things that were just talked about as far as sharing information to the community about the changing in polling locations. And we also talked about the culture and climate survey and how important it is that everyone provide their input so that we can review it as a board and as a district. So if you have not done that yet, please do. And we will be starting to work on communicating the budget as we go into the process.
Okay, great. DEI?
Well, we had a subcommittee, but there were only like 5 people there because there was a lot going on. So
We had a concert.
we had a
that
good
night.
conversation, though.
It
just
was
about-
a very good
Yeah.
conversation. The next meeting, does anyone remember?
The 17th?
17th, thank you, Tara. Okay, and how about policy?
Policy, you see the number of policies for first read and second read, and we met last week, and we're continuing to work on policy, the AI policy for the district, and no current next meeting is scheduled.
Did you want to very quickly just touch on the fact that we worked on the student ex officio policy?
We did work on the student ex officio. We've made a recommendation for a slight change in the language. I think that'll come up to the board next month for proposal.
Yep. Thank you, Parth, for bringing that to our attention. You may recall Parth said that other school districts have 2 ex officio board members, so we changed the language a little to allow for 2. Okay, and do we have any other public comments? Or any public comments? Okay. Board issues, ideas, and sharing. Nina?
So I have 2. One, I just want to say that one reason why I missed this subcommittee meeting is that I was attending the orchestra concert, which was amazing as always. So thank you and congratulations to all of the students who participated and Susan Curo and Bracco and the teachers involved. So thank you. The other announcement I want to make is that there was the governor signed into bill legislation S5784, which directs the Office of General Services to oversee the design, programming, location on the Empire State Plaza in Albany for the new New York Holocaust Memorial. This is something that's been underway for some time. Many people have been involved in having this actually come into fruition. It is the first ever state-sponsored Holocaust Memorial. So that's something that hopefully, as we're working towards the education aspect of that as well, there will be field trip opportunities and the kinds of services that teachers and school can utilize.
Great, and thank you for sharing and for being a part of that. I know that you've been working very hard on that project. Any other ideas? Peter?
Just a note that last month at the New York State Association for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance State Conference, Allison Relier was recognized as Professional of the Year for her leadership in physical education, unified phys ed, and unified sports.
Wonderful. Yeah, we do have an amazing program.
We
So
do one of the models
congratulations.
in the entire state.
Yeah, it's wonderful. That's great. Congratulations. Anybody else? Meredith?
I just wanted to say that some of us attended the tree lighting at the golf course for the Guilderland Town Board put together, and it was really a wonderful event. It was very community focused, and it was fun, and they want to make it annual, so everybody should come next year.
Yes, I actually spoke with Mr. Barber's secretary today and asked her to put us on the list. Instead of having one tree that they lit, they had, I think, 12 trees, and they were sponsored by different entities. And so I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we had one? Yeah. They have different themes. We could do like an education theme or something. So we're on the list to let us know next year.
Great, thank you.
Awesome. All right. Peter Parth, sorry.
I had one question about the policy for the 2 members, if that's okay.
Yes.
So does it say what's going to happen with the 2 student government representatives? Because then otherwise, like next year, it would be we'd have the 2 ex officio and the 2 student government. Does
That
it
is a
kind of?
good point. No, it doesn't address.
So I don't think the policy addresses the student government aspect of it at all. It's just the ex officio.
Because then otherwise, it would be kind of redundant to have like the two student government and the two ex officio.
Okay, that's true, and you did bring
Right,
that up.
but do we have, as the board, do we have jurisdiction over student government
I was,
and how they liaison to the board? I don't think so.
I don't think we.
I remember the
I,
discussion.
when I was at the school board convention, a lot of districts got away with the title of the high school reps and then put them as the school board ex officiados. So, but I don't know if they have any policy about it. I don't know.
I was just going to say same thing, that at the meeting last year on the committee, we talked about that, and that the possibility of it just being absorbed under the same
Yeah.
topic. So similar to what you're saying.
Yeah.
In your opinion, Parth, do you think that we should have one and not the other, or do you think that we should?
I think they should probably, in my opinion, it would be best that if we combine the two of them, so that the two ex officio members are members of student government who vote and like help out there as well, and they also come to these board meetings. That way, you kind of get like me, for example. I'm only able to update on student government because I'm in student government as well.
Right. Yeah, that's.
But that would put a limitation on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not really inclusive.
Right, that the school board is choosing members of the student government, which we do not want to do.
Right. I think we might need to discuss this a little further.
Yes.
I could also ask the advisors of student government if it's possible, if that helps.
I was gonna say, I'm not even sure that that's like a board thing, so we'll have to check in. Dan, could you follow up? Okay, so
Will do.
more to come, Parth. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you so much.
Excuse me. I attended two really cool service things. In the middle school, they had the in-service day that Peter was a part of too. The PE teachers were doing some sort of training, so they had this thing called the in-service day, and it was so great. We had different stations, and like some kids were painting on the walls or creating something to paint their bricks and doing stuff in the shop, and doing some, maybe Peter can explain a little bit more about it, but some character development with his college, and that was totally awesome to go see the middle school do that. And I hope they continue that. It's pretty neat. And the other one that Blanca and I went to was the yearly Focus Thanksgiving dinner, which is always awesome. And these kids were out in the community doing awesome things, and they got to come together to share their experience and share a Thanksgiving dinner together, and that was great.
wonderful.
Highly encourage going for people to go if they have the opportunity to go during the day. But that was kind of two awesome service events. I don't know if Peter wanted to mention a little bit about what his organization did, but it was neat.
Yeah, so thanks to Mike Laster, Caroline Pepper, and Kathleen Doherty, we were able to connect Russell Sage College and some of our teacher prep candidates, our undergraduate and graduate students, to offer programming sessions on positive ed, which ties closely to the character ed work that they do at Farnsworth, and it was very well received, and we look forward to continuing to partner with Mike and the staff at the middle school, on that as we move ahead. And there was some press, the Times Union had some photos from it.
I thought I saw this.
Good, yeah, I saw that.
Great.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kelly, for bringing up the Focus luncheon. One of the things that I really took away from that is that essentially the groups, there are groups and they're
Families.
classmates, right? But they refer to their groups as families, which I thought was beautiful. So they go out and they do this community work as a part of their family. So I loved that, and that was a beautiful moment. So, okay, anything else? Thank you to Mr. Mayberry for our first snow day. Some of us who know you're from Lake Placid were concerned. So thank you.
Thank Mother Nature for that.
All good decisions, Mr. Mayberry.
All right, I think we can get a motion to end meeting. Nina, second Kelly. All right, unanimous. Thank you.